Use the diagram shown. Ray BD is the angle bisector of angle ABC. So the first thing that we can see here is that if ray BD is the angle bisector of ABC, which is this angle here, ABC, that ray BD is going to cut angle ABC into two equal halves because a bisector cuts into two equal segments or halves. So I know that angle ABD is going to be one half of the bigger angle, and angle CBD is going to be the second half of the bigger angle, which allows me to answer question 5. What is the relationship between angle ABD and angle CBD? And I know that angle ABD equals angle CBD. Number 6, what is the relationship between angle DAB, angle DAB, and angle DCB? So notice that here, DAB is going to be focusing right here on this angle, and DCB is going to be focusing right here on this angle. So notice that both of those are marked with this little square, and this little square clues us in that they are both 90 degrees. So we know that angle DAB equals angle DCB, and they both equal 90 degrees. Question 7. What is the relationship between AD, right here, and CD, right here, these little segments? Well, we know from the angle bisector theorem that if a point is on the bisector of an angle, which point D is on BD, so D is on BD, which is the angle bisector. So if a point is on the bisector of an angle, then it is equidistant from the two sides of the angle. So since D is on BD, the angle bisector, then we know it is equidistant or equal distance from the two sides of the angle. So it's equal distance from AB and CB. So we can mark these with congruence notches. So we can say that AD equals CD because C is on BD, the angle bisector. And the angle bisector theorem allows us to draw that conclusion. I'm not going to write "and the angle bisector theorem." I'm just going to put that in parentheses because that's what we refer to draw that conclusion. Question 8, true or false? Because segment BD is the angle bisector of angle ABC, segment AB, this segment here, is congruent to segment CB, this segment here. Now this isn't necessarily an obvious answer because we kind of have to go old school back to our triangle similarity theorems. Remember we had angle, side, angle, 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 side, and side, angle, side. And those were your triangle congruence theorems. Now, we do have an angle here that's congruent. We have a side here. We can't necessarily say that these angles here are congruent. So I'm not gonna use angle side angle. But I do have one more triangle congruence theorem that I can use here, and that is what we call the hypotenuse leg theorem. And your hypotenuse leg theorem says that if the hypotenuse and leg of a right triangle are congruent to the hypotenuse and leg of another right triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. And as we can see here in this picture, we have these two legs of each one of these right triangles are congruent. And these two right triangles both share the hypotenuse. So we know that BD equals BD from the reflexive property. Whoops, I can't spell today. Reflexive. And basically, your reflexive property says that if your two triangles are sharing a side, then that side is congruent or equal to its own self. And since BD equals BD, we also have, we can also say that, those the hypotenuse are equal because BD is the hypotenuse of each one of these triangles. So we can say from the hypotenuse leg theorem that triangle BCD is congruent to triangle BAD. And since the two triangles are congruent to each other, all parts or all corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So we can say that yes, AB is congruent to CB. So we can say that this is true, but it takes some effort here, doesn't it? It takes some understanding of some of your older congruence theorems from Math 2, I guess.